Hello and welcome to episode number 130 of the WP Café show, the show where we share the real, unfiltered experience of running our WordPress business. I'm Mark Wilkinson, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Keith Devon. We're from Highrise Digital, a tiny agency building WordPress websites and products. And today we're going to dive into why WordPress is amazing. So grab a brew, settle in, and explore what it's really like to run our business behind the scenes. You can follow us on at WP Café Show on Twitter, and you can find us on Blue Sky and the web at wpcafe.show. If you enjoyed the episode, it would be awesome if you could just click that like button. It really does give us a bit of a helping hand. And we'd also love to hear your thoughts throughout the show. So if you've got any comments on what we're saying, any questions, please feel free to dive in and let us know. We've already got Elliot says hello. In fact, he says 130. It says 132. Did I say 130?
You must have, yeah.
That's because I'm reading off our notes and I didn't change it. So there you go. It's episode 132. My apologies. And thank you, Elliot, for correcting me. Hi to Mark and hi also to Sam. Thank you for joining us. As always, how has your week been, Keith? What have you been up to? What exciting projects have you got to tell us about?
Oh my goodness. Don't put too much pressure on. My week's been good. It's half term here, so I've had a bit of a week kind of balancing childcare and work and the like. So yeah, no mega exciting projects I can think of, unless you can correct me, Mark. But business as usual mostly. Took yesterday off. We were going to go to Margate, Dreamland in Margate, which is like a kind of fun fair kind of place. But it was apocalyptic weather. We barely got there in the car. You know, we needed some kind of amphibious vehicle to get there, and then but we ended up going to some indoor golf thing, which was really fun, like crazy golf, all Aztec themed and really, really cool. So that was great. And then yeah, just got blown about in the seafront for a bit. So yeah, work-wise, nothing mega interesting to talk about this week, but yeah, and I'm off this weekend for we're staying somewhere nearby, actually, just with some friends for the weekend, so should be good. How about yourself?
Yeah, exciting. I have added a new integration to our Job Relay product. So for those that don't know, it integrates with various different job posting services or services that allow users to sort of grab jobs and put them somewhere, and it will post them to your WordPress website. And we've already got Broadbean, Logic Mail, and Idaboo workable. What's the other one? Job Adder. Get it right. It will also do any XML feed that a service might have, but we've just been working on an integration for a new client from Bullhorn, which has been nice. They have a public jobs API, which is kind of just for this thing. So like jobs that are public and you want to put them on a public facing website, they're exposed through that API. So I've been using that to pull jobs from there and then push them onto someone's website, which has been good fun. It's been nice being able to work
good
along
fun
stuff.
and potentially really beneficial for the product. Like Bullhorn are one of the biggest players in the space and one that we previously haven't been able to integrate with until you kind of tried again and found a way. So
yeah, and they also they have a lot of customers. Most use it as a CRM, like the Bullhorn sort of CRM, and many use it alongside posting providers like we're already integrated with. But we have had lots of customers. Well, I say lots of customers. Enough customers to make you think about it, that says, actually, I just want to use Bullhorn. I don't have to want to integrate with these other services to do the job. So it's nice to maybe be able to offer them something. So I'm just going to see how it goes with this customer first, and then we can kind of push it out and roll it out with everybody.
Yeah, I think it would be really interesting to put that out on the mailing list and say that,
definitely.
You know, we now know how to integrate with Bullhorn, because I reckon a lot of our customers would love to ditch services like Broadbean and stuff just to save some cash. We've had that before. Yeah. They don't want to pay for that just to do that job posting side of things. So if we can say, well, you're already using Bullhorn, you don't want to pay for Broadbean, and you're only really using that to post to your own website, then we can kind of, we can help them do that. Like save a bunch of money now, which is cool.
And it's worth pointing out those services, Broadbean, Logic Mail, and Idaboo, Job Adder, so they offer all sorts of other things apart from just displaying the job. So it depends how you're using it as a recruiter. But I think there are some customers that are just using those services to post to their website because it's the easiest method of actually doing it. And therefore, maybe there's an alternative, so we can have a look at.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was good fun working on that this week. I enjoyed it. Nice to get back to some development,
proper development work, which was good.
Yeah,
you could tell you were into it. You were like constantly pinging me, like, "I've got an update to show you. It's working. I've got this thing working. I've got this thing working." It's like it's fun.
Yeah, it's good fun. Yeah, don't often get that these days. I don't know why, but we don't.
Well, you can tell when we're enjoying our work because we want to share it, either with each other or the world. You know, we want to kind of put stuff out there like, look what we've done, or look what problem I just solved, or whatever. So yeah, really cool.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Well done.
Thank you. Right. So today we have got a number of topics to discuss. The biggest one is, well, we've called it WordPress is amazing. And there's a sort of a premise to why that is the case. I'll come to that in a minute. A little bit about shortcodes. I think you've added something about productized web services.
Yep.
Various other little things as well. So we'll get onto that. Where should we start? What do you reckon?
Let's start with the headline topic.
Okay.
Well, we've called it kind of WordPress is amazing. In our show notes, it's defending WordPress. So it's kind of a little bit of both. And I think this comes out of a couple of things that happened this week, actually. From my side, it comes from a call that we had with a client who is a long-term client of ours, but the person who hired us has left, and there's someone coming in her place. So we were kind of introducing ourselves to her, but also introducing her website and how it worked. So we're like, we'll jump on a call with you and talk you through the website. So we did that, and I kind of demoed the block editor. I said, have you ever worked with WordPress before? Yes, she's worked with WordPress before. Has she ever worked with the block editor before? No, she hasn't. So I was like, well, this is going to look potentially very different to the experience of WordPress that you've had. And it was very different for her in a very, very positive way. I was just showing her just like the simple stuff, adding blocks, adding columns, drag and drop, changing colors, adding background colors, changing font sizes, just the basics. And then I think maybe a couple of patterns and things, and maybe some custom blocks. But she was really, really impressed. And it was so funny. Like, one of the things on the call that I think got the biggest kind of smile was like, and this is where you edit your footer. And she's like, oh, wow. I was like, yeah. I mean, what?
I can edit the footer. Whoa.
What platform she was working on her last. Did we ever find that out? What web platform she'd used?
We didn't on the last project, but she said she's definitely used WordPress before.
Yeah. And
when we sort of introduced the fact we're going to do this demo, or we've used WordPress before, there was a bit of a not like a negativity, like WordPress before. So clearly her experience of WordPress was nothing to do with the block editor, of course. I'm suspecting it was one of the big page builders, and that's what people who come from that, if that's all you've seen in a WordPress website, that's what you think WordPress is. So therefore, when you show actually, well, that's not actually WordPress, this is WordPress out of the box. Exactly. And actually, in many places, it's better. I'm sure there's things it doesn't do that those page builders do a very good job in. But it was fascinating, like just watching like the face when you were demoing it, because obviously you were doing the demo, and I was just on there for answering questions and adding stuff and stuff where I can. But just like seeing the sort of like the visual of the person and like what they were feeling.
Yeah,
you can really see straight away. Like they were like, "Oh, this is really good."
I got throughout that call, I got the feeling that it went from we're not sure if we're going to keep using you guys, we might rebuild this in a way that we like kind of call, to this is really great, I can't wait to keep working with you guys kind of call. Like, I don't know if that's true, but like it certainly had that. I picked up some subtle cues that might be the case, and that was really, really satisfying. The second thing that kind of made me realize, I guess, how much I really do like the current state of WordPress in a lot of ways is another client who they were trying to lay out events on their page, and they didn't like the solution that they'd come up with. And I was like, quote for like building some kind of like redesigning something and building a custom block and blah, blah, blah. And I just thought, I'm just going to spend 20 minutes fiddling about in the block editor to see if I can create a layout that they might like. And they talked about like some kind of card layout. So I just did something super simple with, it's basically an event summary. So there's like an image, event title, a date and time, a short description, and a button. And she had it in kind of media text rows, like stacked vertically.
Yeah, image and
I put it into a grid with like a kind of card layout. And I did the whole thing in the editor. And actually, I did the whole thing in a kind of, I guess it's a slightly reduced editor. And we've got most controls available on that particular website, actually, all the dimension controls and things. So largely, I was really, really happy with the end result. Like, it's quite simple, but it suits the styling of that website really well. And they were really happy with it. And I was like, this is what it can do today. It is really quite powerful. One thing I realized that I came up against was there's no Z-index controls. So I'd created a little kind of tab for the date and time. And I tried pulling that up a bit so it sat between the image and the kind of text box. So it kind of like overlapped them both. And it just went under the image. So I was like, oh, that's a bit annoying. And I couldn't really do it. I could add some custom CSS and go down that route, but I didn't, just for the sake of like doing something for free for them. So that was cool. So I'm feeling actually really positive about WordPress. And then the third thing that happened, Mark, I'll let you introduce because you introduced that to me.
So I was on LinkedIn and I saw this LinkedIn event. I think it's called an event, and it was I'm just loading it now. Turn your recruitment website into a 24/7 revenue engine. So I thought that was interesting. So I joined in to watch the event, and I actually enjoyed it. There's some actually really good stuff in there. It's a really good. I don't know what it was, 40 minutes or so. Some really simple takeaways that I enjoyed. I'm sure they might not be relevant to everyone watching unless you're in recruitment. Quite a few were specific, but it was an interesting topic. But during the course of the event, a number of times, I don't know if it's both or one of the guests was kind of like talking WordPress down. It was like, oh, and if you're using this system, it's dead easy to do and dead easy to do this and this and this. But if you were using a WordPress site, well, you wouldn't have this and you wouldn't have this and you'd have to go and get it from there and so on.
Yeah.
And a lot of what they were saying was just wrong in essence. WordPress has what you've just been describing, this fabulous editor that I know we all get annoyed with it and frustrated with it, but ultimately, fundamentally is very good,
Yeah.
And these tools, although they are edit your own website tools, they've nothing compared to what we've got in WordPress. And it just got me thinking, actually, how good what we've got is compared to what some of these other people that I see are using. And obviously, it just brought it to my attention, really, watching this webinar with talking about these websites. And a lot of the things that were in there, changing titles and editing your own content, and that was showcased as like a wow thing. And it's like, what, you can edit the content on your website, and then the chap was saying about, when you want to do it in WordPress, you have to go back to your developer and do it. And it's like, no, you don't. If it's built well, you don't. That's the whole point, So yeah, it's although it had some very good stuff in it, that brought it to my attention and just got me thinking, what we have got is great.
Yeah.
And then that got me thinking, and we had a little discussion about that this morning. How do we sell that to customers? Because when we've had lots of we've spoke on here before about demonstrating the block editor, and it is such a valuable part of selling what we offer. So when we're on a sales call, so someone's already contacted us, we've had a conversation by email, they've booked a call for an initial consultation where we're going to chat about their project, and either in that call or as a part of that call, we want to show them what we're going to be able to build them in terms of how they're going to be able to manage their website. And every one of them we've done has been so positive in terms of they come away loving what they're going to get.
Yeah.
So how do we put that almost, instead of putting it at the point where we've got a lead, we've got them on a call, how do we make that the point that gets the leads? Because I think that would be, look at what you could be having type thing. Oh, we'll get in touch and we'll get in touch with them. Don't know what you think, but whether that's a video, a demo, or how you get it in front of people. Or...
So many layers to it as well, isn't there? So I think WordPress obviously has a image problem. Like, it's old, it's insecure, it's badly built, it's hard to update, it's blah blah blah. The editor's rubbish. There's lots of general problems with WordPress that make it really, really easy to bash, and people do all the time. So I still think something could be done at the higher levels of WordPress. Who does that and who funds it is the obvious question. We used to have a marketing team on WordPress.org that apparently weren't really given much freedom to do anything or much support at all. And it eventually got disbanded, which seems crazy to me. Like whyas.org or even .com, are they not advertising a bit more and just extolling the virtues of what WordPress gives you? I don't know. It's probably not a problem we can solve. Yeah, and then my next thought is, can we create some kind of video asset that really shows off what WordPress can do? Not necessarily for recruitment, but just in general, like those demos that we've been having where people are literally like, oh my goodness, wow. It's like, yeah, I mean, this is 4 or 5 year old, nearly 6-year-old technology now that people are still amazed at that, and amazed that it's WordPress that's doing that. It's like there's a real problem in this industry. And I think it's the problem Matt was trying to solve, to be fair to him, with the Gutenberg project, is that WordPress almost has too many flavors and you don't really know what you're getting when you get a WordPress website. Whereas if we can find a way to show off what you get out of the box and what it's capable of, I don't know, I think I could help us win a whole lot more work. I think. So yeah, whether that's assets that we create personally or we do it as a community or both, or I don't know.
I think there could be something that belongs to WordPress that we can use. But that isn't there at the moment. So I think we're going to have to build something or make something. Mark, thank you, says, make a landing page. Simplest with screenshots, more complex with video. I'm just not sure that landing page would be called. But that makes sense. Like here's a page. This is what we're going to, fundamentally the basics of what we're going to give you. It'll differ client to client as it should do. But that's what we're going to sort of provide. And this is what you can look forward to if you work with us.
Yeah.
Elliot says, reminds me of an issue I had this week with the old classic theme. Very frustrating to edit compared to the new block theme, which I'm much more used to these days. Yeah, I have that quite a lot, where you go to an old site and it's not using the block editor and you think, oh, I just wish it was.
Yeah, block editor is not perfect, but it is damn good.
Yeah, very, very good. Like as I said, we moan about it a lot, and but ultimately, fundamentally, it's very good.
Yeah.
Mark also says, thank you. Also, I'll make a point of showing how WordPress used to be and how it is now. I think that's difficult because, like I said, a lot of people's experience of WordPress isn't actually WordPress. We get a lot of customers that come to us and their experience of WordPress is Elementor or Divi, and that they don't know it's that. They just think that's what it is. So they might not have even seen the old WYSIWYG standard editor. They might not even be aware of that because they've never used that either. But yeah.
Yeah.
I presume this is Matt from WP Minute. Curious if you're transitioning more client experiences from the old days of ACF for editing parts of the website content to more native blocks and the site editor.
Yeah. We haven't actually done...
We haven't done a conversion, have we?
We haven't done a conversion, even with current clients. I don't think we had any clients that were on the old ACF version that stayed our clients, and we moved on to the block editor. I don't think that happened. We tended to lose most of those clients, and that is the problem that we have as an agency. I think is that we let our websites go stale-ish. Not because we don't want to improve them, but it just, I don't know, the way it happens. There's not a lot of investment goes in, and then we're judged against the website we built 5 years ago, and they hire somebody else to build a new one. So we could probably do
tricky.
more to show what we can do today to our current clients.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that for sure. But I'm thinking, like, we've recently lost a client who's just launched their new website now with their new partner using WordPress, so they're not, they haven't moved platforms. Didn't leave them in bad terms or anything like that. It was absolutely fine. But what we built for them, obviously, it was an old technology, because what they had up until the new one launched, a few weeks ago, was an old ACF flexible content type idea, and it was dated. Don't get me wrong, like it was dated.
Yeah.
But it did the job, because how many times did have come to the monthly call and it was like, well, we don't need the call, because so we never get in touch.
Like
We never had that
old,
touch point with the client, because it just did the job. But so yeah, but we could do more for sure. Oh, lots of comments, which is nice. Sam, controversial. Don't say it's WordPress. Sell the features and service, not the platform.
Yeah.
Don't scare them away with the name.
This is a really interesting one, isn't it? Because I'm kind of with Sam on that to some extent, but I think so much of the power of WordPress comes from it because it's WordPress. Like so much of how we sell it is because of the ecosystem, because it's open source, because it's X, Y, and Z. And maybe we're wrong to do that. Maybe we're selling it wrong. And I think in our conversation earlier, Mark, we were talking about this, and we said we often have put a pretty high emphasis on the fact that WordPress gives you freedom. So you own your site. You own, like, you can have your own hosting platform. You can change developers if you want, and keep your site the same.
Yep.
The ownership and the freedom of it, we put quite a lot of emphasis on. Whereas I'm beginning to think that's really not what people care about. And they just care, is it going to look nice? Is it going to work well? Can I add content if I need to? Kind of thing. And maybe Sam's right that we should de-emphasize WordPress to some extent. I'm not convinced by that yet, but it's certainly an angle. It's certainly something that you could do and that people do.
It's an interesting idea, definitely. Mark agrees with Sam. The first stage isn't to sell WordPress, it is to sell how you solve the client's problems. Yep, don't disagree with that. Pixels and things, thank you for joining us. Are you guys now providing full FSE themes? I'm still using a hybrid approach. I had a number of commercial clients without the need to edit the template areas, but love the flexibility of the editor. Yes, we are providing full site editing. It's not called full site editing, it's just called site editing anymore, isn't it? But we are, we don't use a hybrid approach anymore. It's a block theme for new builds. All in. We've still got 2 existing clients who have a hybrid approach. Hence the reason. Oh no, because that client that we talked to, they're a hybrid approach, aren't they?
Yep.
So they don't have a full site editing. They can edit the footer because we built them something to edit the footer, not because of full site editing, but obviously they could do that in full site editing. Site editing, as it's now called. Sorry. But yeah, that's our approach. That's what we're still going for. And most clients, just to caveat that, never touch the templates, but it's easy for us to make changes in a template should we wish to do so. So it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I'd rather edit a footer template in the editor than change a PHP file somewhere and have to push it and deploy it and blah blah blah. Yeah, if it's just content changes.
It says I'm doing exactly that right now, converting ACF to full-blown site editing, documented on his YouTube channel. So have a look at that. And finally, Mark, yes, all of our clients have been on full site editing since 1920. Wow, that is early. Well done. For getting them.
Do we even have FSC in 2019?
Must have been. I don't know.
I thought the Gutenberg project was only 6 years kind of launched, but anyway.
I hope. So yeah, WordPress is amazing, and don't forget it. It is. We discuss and argue, but it is fantastic, and we still use it. It's as we should, but we still use it. We still like it. So let's keep pushing it forward. Let's keep trying to sell it and get people using it, because it is cool. It is cool. Right, next one, shortcodes. Everyone goes, oh, shortcodes.
Well, yeah.
So as part of the integration with Bullhorn that I was doing, I wanted to build an application for them because they also have an API that you can send applications back to. So I was working on that. And for right or wrong, we can discuss whether using a shortcode is the right way in a different argument. But for this point, we've decided to use a shortcode, mainly because a shortcode works with anything. Elementor, Divi, block editor, old site editor, ACF. If you can use a shortcode in your website, that's why we use a shortcode, because it will work across all of these different platforms. And when we're integrating products with different WordPress installations, the shortcode is the easiest way to do that. So I created a shortcode for my application form. And when I add it to the site editor, so this was in a template, so I was on the single jobs template and it was underneath the content of the job, added the application form under there. You load it on the front end and it is full of empty paragraph tags, break tags, etc. Now, I followed all of the steps that are out there for advice to be able to remove these. Trimming the content, unfiltering X, Y, Z. Google it, you'll find all these solutions. And none of them worked, essentially. None of them worked. And I've had this before as well on a previous project. It was when we built our browse content thing for the sort of dynamic URLs with the jobs. I can't remember if I solved it then, but we did. I think it was something to do with block elements, if you wrap things in block elements. Anyway, right. But that's beside the point. So this time I thought I'm going to do a little bit more research. So I was Googling and then I jumped into ChatGPT AI and asking them. It came up with all the same answers as before, but somehow I got him to manage to suggest, I don't know why, but he suggested instead of using the shortcode block, use the HTML block. And my instant real response was, well, surely a shortcode won't render in a HTML block because it's supposed to render HTML. But I tried it and lo and behold, it works. And it literally removes all of the break tags, empty paragraph tags, the problems that I was experiencing. I don't know why, but I just thought that was an interesting solution if anyone else is having the same problem. If you add a HTML block, put your shortcode in there, and then save it, it seems to work fine. I assume that's because a HTML block is not treated like other blocks in that it doesn't have a list of filters and things running on it because you wouldn't want to, because you're supposed to be rendering HTML, whatever they type in, I guess. And you wouldn't want to run auto P and whatever on that because it would start messing around with what the markup they've written. And the idea is it's going to render that markup.
So I wonder
why it renders a shortcode, I don't really know, but that's beside the point, and it's quite useful.
And also, why does the shortcode block run all of those filters?
That's a very good question, and I don't know the answer to that. I couldn't really find out what it was that was actually causing this to happen. I'm assuming it is on those filters, but I couldn't isolate the problem. It got so complicated. If anyone knows why that is, I would love to know what actually is it that's causing that problem. Because it renders fine in the other block.
Yeah.
And it renders fine when you use it in the old editor, and it renders fine if you do it like just echoing the shortcode in a template or something like that. It seems to be fine. It's only when you put it in that block that it seems to be an issue.
I need to try it in Elementor and see what happens.
Yeah.
And then Divi as well, because Elementor has a shortcode module.
Yep.
Divi doesn't. You use a text module for that.
Right.
So we should try it on both of those to see, because I can't remember if that's
how they behave.
It'd be really interesting. So obviously, we don't have a fix for that because within Divi I can't use the HTML block, but maybe there is an HTML module within Divi and an HTML module within Elementor that would fix that. So yeah, interesting one. Yeah, it's been bugging us for a while.
Just a little bit of insight if you ever come across that. You've added the next one: productized website services. I'll let you.
This is something I listened to yesterday or the day before. So long-time followers of the show will probably know that I'm a bit of a fan of a guy called Jonathan Stark, who is the kind of ditching hourly billing guy, the value-based pricing guy, depending which way you want to look at it. He has a podcast called Ditching Hourly, and I happened to listen to the last episode of it because the title of it piqued my interest because it was called Productized Web Design, and productized anything kind of sort of piques my interest these days because I've just realized it's a really good way to kind of build a business rather than just be a kind of one-off kind of churning through things kind of guy. And then we've obviously thought about this from a recruitment angle before, and potentially other angles like schools and things. How do we take our expertise and package it up into something that is repeatable, that people understand, that you can put a price against? So I listened to this, and it is a lady from the States, and she builds websites in a week. That's her thing. And I like that as well because a week sounds like a decent amount of time. She does it in Squarespace. She talks about the fact that she chose Squarespace because it's the easiest for her to do quickly, and it's easiest for her clients. She wasn't bashing other platforms, but like in her experience, it was the best, which I'd reckon it probably is.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting. So they talk about all the different challenges and opportunities that like productizing comes with. So I won't go into any further detail. That was just really have a listen. So it is podcast.ditchinghourly.com, or search for it on a podcast player, the Ditching Hourly. It's just called Ditching Hourly. And it's the latest episode. So if you want to check that out, do so. But I learned a lot. Yeah. There you go. It's on the screen if you're watching. Yeah, good show.
Yeah, it sounds like it's something I'd be interested in. That might give that a listen for sure.
Yeah, I would do. She's just got cool ideas around like how to start the project, like the kind of questions and the kind of how she structures the start of the project, and then what she does on day 1 and day 2, and like all that kind of stuff. It's good. It is good.
So she talks about a process.
Yeah,
how she gets from website from client and then to end of week.
Exactly. One of the things I thought was really interesting in it is that she talks about like websites can be a real existential crisis for people, like because suddenly you're asking them to explain their worth and their value to the world, and they're just like, oh God, like, but I just do this thing for everybody, and like the whole positioning part of it is really, really hard for people. So she talks about the fact that she has to help them through that process and make it kind of as easy as possible, and kind of keep emphasizing that it doesn't have to be perfect. You just need to get something that's better than you've got now. And the other thing that I thought was cool is she doesn't get her clients to write their own copy. Now, this would probably be different for us, potentially. But the reason for that is they just get stuck. They cannot do it. They can't do it well. And she says she interviews them, and she says and then just hits like record on her AI, whatever. And then she says what they tell her in an interview is night and day compared to what they would provide as copy for their website. Yeah. The way they describe things in person is like vibrant and interesting and exciting. The way they write about themselves is terrible. So she doesn't let them write about themselves. It's basically like, just talk to me about your business and what you do for people and what you're passionate about. And then she uses that to create this copy for them. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
A few things like that. It's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing I was going to say that was interesting about it is it's not a recurring revenue model for her. She doesn't want it to be. She's just like almost wants it just to be a fire and forget thing. It's just like, I've done this website for you, off you go. She doesn't charge, as far as I was aware, like recurring kind of fees.
So she just charges a one-off fee, helps them build it in Squarespace. They pay for Squarespace, their own account, I guess.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, nice and clean, I guess.
It's clean, but that kind of model doesn't jive well with me and how I want to do things.
Yeah. I'd agree with that. But yeah.
But then it's the balance between like, do you want 50 people on a support contract? If you're building one website a week, you've got to churn out quite a lot of websites to make a living. And do you want them all in your emails asking for small changes? Probably not.
Yeah, but
you could charge hosting.
She won't build 52 in a year, will she? So
no, but it'll build up over time.
10, I don't know, but
I think she had like. I think the business was a couple of years old and she had like 40 clients. So
yeah. Good. Interesting stuff. Right. Quick summary. So Black Friday is on its way, and I just found on Nathan's WP Builds podcast, he had a good page about some Black Friday deals. In fact, I should have put this in a banner, and I'll do it right now. Add banner, put on screen. There we go. So if you're interested in purchasing some WordPress goodies, have a look on that. There's literally loads of like offers and services, plugins, all sorts. So if you're thinking of buying plugin X, it's probably worth having a look on there because you might be able to see a nice Black Friday offer. Agree with them or not, but they are out there and they will be out there for the next month or so. I believe it's November the 28th, is it? Where's my notes gone? I think that's officially Black Friday, isn't it? November the 28th. That's what I saw, but I never actually know when it is. It's just a thing that happens.
Yeah, I tend to pretty much ignore it. And then every year I'm like, oh God, I should have bought that or that, some big purchase that you haven't bought for the last couple of years, and it was a good opportunity. But yeah, WordPress, I kind of don't understand the Black Friday thing in the WordPress world, but there you go. Like who's waiting around for a deal before they buy Gravity Forms? It just seems odd to me. But it seems to work. People do it. So
yeah. Last one from me. I saw this on Twitter. Lifetime licenses are worth it. And this was a tweet from Katie Keith, who is Barn 2 plugins to do like WooCommerce and other plugins, I'm sure. And she says, I've always believed that lifetime licenses aren't a support nightmare, and now I have the data to prove it. At Barn 2 plugins, lifetime customers contact support less often and for no longer, than annual ones. This makes lifetime pricing at 3 to 4 times annual amount, I assume, sustainable. Do you agree? She said. So I think what she's saying there is that, let's say we have a plugin and it's 100 quid. If we charge 400 quid for it and let the client have it forever with no other costs, it's actually making us more money than it is if we charge £100 a year, because for some reason, those customers that are paying annually get in touch more on support and want more help. And that costs Barn 2 more in support costs than it does for the person that's bought it for 4 years, for 400 quid forever. And for some reason, that'd be interesting to know what that reason is. They don't get in touch as much through support. I just thought it was interesting. What do you think about lifetime licenses?
That's a tricky one. As a business owner, I think they worry me slightly. But if you could prove, so if you knew that your product had an average lifetime of, I don't know what the technical term is, but average lifetime of 3 years.
Yeah.
And you could sell 3.5 year, 4 year licenses, then yeah.
Just to clarify, when you say average lifetime, you mean an average customer lifetime, as in they buy it and then the average is most customers stay with it for 3 years and then they get rid of it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you could potentially sell some. There were people that were willing to spend, 4 times the annual fee on it. Then yeah, maybe. Sort of makes sense. I guess one of the problems with that, if you ever do want to sell your business, you potentially have quite a large number of clients that won't recur.
Yeah.
There's no future income, or that potentially future income if you're selling other things, or they buy another. No, they'll never buy another lifetime license, of course, because even if
they don't need to.
Yeah, that worries me a little bit. I don't know. Yeah, I guess that's it. If the average lifetime is 3 years and you can sell a 4 year license, then yeah, go for it. I don't know.
But if everyone's on a lifetime license, then you don't get any more income, do you? Apart from new sales, obviously.
But you wouldn't get it anyway, I think is the point, on average. Right. So if your average was 3 years, and say we worked out for Job Relay that the average was 3 years, and we just decided, actually, we're just gonna scrap monthly or annual licenses, and we're just going to sell a lifetime license, and it's going to be priced at 4 years.
Yeah.
And we sold as many of those as we did the old versions, we would make more money.
Yeah. Interesting. I don't know. Yeah, I'm really torn.
Yeah, I'm torn by it. I guess if people kind of want that because... So why would people want that? They either want it because they can't be bothered with another subscription service. They just don't want the accounting overhead and the admin overhead. Just like, I've got enough money, I'm just going to pay for this once and never have to worry about it again.
Yeah.
I think that's one, isn't it? And then there's people that are probably genuinely like, I've invested in this website. This is a 7-year investment, and I know I'm going to need this plugin that whole time. So yeah, I'm happy to spend 4 years, like 4 years worth of licenses to buy it forever. I think there's the two kind of scenarios, I think, but I don't know.
So my question then is, if you're a customer and you are buying a product and they offer a lifetime license, at what price would you say, no, I'll do the monthly or the annual one? What's that cutoff period that says it's no longer worth it? Maybe that differs for each product. I don't know.
It must be.
I can't make my mind up as someone buying it. Because to me, 4 years sounds like a long time to commit to a product, to say, I am going to need this for 4 years. I'm definitely going to use it. You know, tech moves on so quickly. I don't think I would spend 4 times the cost of a yearly one. I just don't think that'd be worth it for me.
Yeah.
But I see doing it less than that in terms of the seller isn't worth it for them either. So personally, for me, there's no one wins, because I wouldn't want to buy it at that price, and I don't think they'd want to sell it any less. Which is interesting. I always look at Advanced Custom Fields and Gravity Forms, 2 plugins which we have and use extensively on projects.
Yeah,
excellent plugins. You know, totally worth paying for, in my opinion. Advanced Custom Fields, we have a lifetime license with. I don't know what we actually paid them. It probably was less than $100.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We have never paid a penny since. To be fair, we don't often actually use any support or anything like that, because there's all sorts of support out there, isn't there?
We're using all their updates, though. All that continued development work.
Correct. Whereas Gravity Forms, we're not on a lifetime license. I don't think they offer them, but I might be wrong on that. And we pay, I don't know what it is, $150 a year. More than happy to pay that. So I can't see, like, for those 2 examples, the lifetime license doesn't work. But I do get it's different for different products, different industries. For me, it just doesn't work. And ACF, you know, have got to keep giving us those updates. I suppose. Well, they should do. I mean, it's a lifetime license. Otherwise, it's not worth what it was written on. But I just think it's an interesting model. I think I'm in the fence of not offering them, but
me too.
And it's the same where you see, and I've seen a trend to this. A lot of plugins used to offer a 1-site license. They used to offer like a 5 or 10 site license, and then they used to offer an unlimited site license. Gravity Forms is an example. Use unlimited licenses if you go for the top package that they've got. And now I'm seeing a lot of them offering like 1, 10, 25, and 2,500. So they are putting a cap on it. They're saying you can't just use this for everything. I know it's a massive number, but you can't use this for everything. And I think I'm in that camp. I would not offer unlimited licenses. Just doesn't make sense to me.
If someone came to you and they said, we want to use Job Relay, we really can't be bothered with an ongoing thing. We've got too many subscriptions. Can I just give you an amount of money? What would you say?
I'd say no.
And it depends what that like. Really? Like, I was talking, you know, I'll give you $1,000. I'll give you $2,000.
What, for unlimited licenses?
No. For a lifetime license.
No, I'd say no.
$3,000.
No.
10.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's my question before is, where is that line? I don't know the answer to the question.
Yeah. Interesting.
So, but yeah, I don't know. 10 would be tempting.
It's cool. Do you know what I love about Katie is that she puts stuff like that out there. She's constantly talking about the business of WordPress, and and attaching real life figures and values to things like that. She's so transparent with all that stuff, her business finances and stuff. It's so refreshing. I love it.
So that was in my timeline, along with, I think they was asking a poll about whether to auto respond to customers' emails.
Yeah.
So apparently, every time a customer emails them, they auto responded just to say, "Thanks, we've got your email, we're on it," type thing. And I was like, that'd just be a nightmare. Every time I send a reply, I get an email saying, "Yeah, we've got your reply." And so she did a poll and that, just stuff like that, like just putting it out there. And then the poll was unanimously only on the first email. And
first email, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, so they've changed the systems now based on that. So just stuff like that is really good. So follow her on Twitter at
definitely
Katie Keith Barn 2.
Yeah,
mouthful, but it's there. Right, I think we're done.
We're done.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Is there any more questions? I think there was a bit of chat between people there, which was nice.
Yeah.
So it was good. Thanks for joining us. Will we be back next week? Quick look at the calendar, and the answer is most probably. There's nothing in there that says we shouldn't be, even unless there's any last-minute things. It is half term for me next week. I know you've had it this week.
Yeah.
So unless something crops up that we have to do on Friday,
it's Friday next week, or it's Friday. It's Halloween.
It's Halloween. You're right. Yes.
Yeah. The spooky version
of a spooky show. I don't know how you do that, but anyway. Drop us a like if you enjoyed the show, please. Do subscribe if you've not done so. And other than that, we'll see you in a week's time. Bye-bye.
Bye.